Everything ready now for the next round of matches. Now we will have the round 4 of teams BC1, BC2 here for this Coimbra 2024 World Boccia Paralympic Qualification Tournament. In court number 1, match between China and Morocco. The official Han-Dort Andersen and the liner Maria Sa. Representing China, Qizhang, Hijan Lan and Zhixiang Yan. And representing Morocco, Mohamed Boihi Laben, Nadia Ihiri and Himad Howaji. In court number 2, match between Slovakia and Croatia, the official David Henriques and the liner Diana Lorenzo. Representing Slovakia, Thomas Kroll, Eliška Jankashova and Rostislav Kurilak. And from Croatia, Dora Bazic, Luka Wagner and Marko Turkovic. In court number 3, the game between Hong Kong and Mexico, the official Marta Panovnik and the liner Gonzalo Celestino. And from Mexico will play Eduardo Sanchez, Karina Martinez and Dubier Paredes. From Hong Kong, John Long, Hiu Lam Young and Hoi Ying Karen Kwok. In court number 4, match between Canada and Malaysia, the official Helena Bastos and the liner Carlos Coelho. Representing Canada, Lance Crederman, Christine Collins and Danik Allard. And from Malaysia will play Angeline Lawas, Shili and Mohamed Siafik. Good luck for all.
Wake up in the morning feeling like PD. Hey, what up, girl? Grab my glasses, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city. Before I leave, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack. Cause when I leave for the night, I ain't coming back. I'm talking pedicure on our toes, toes. Trying on all our clothes, clothes. Boys blowing up our phones, phones. Drop top and playing our favorite CDs. Pulling up to the parties. Trying to get a little bit tipsy. Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick-tock on the clock, but the party don't stop.
Start to warm up.
Jagger. I'm talking about everybody getting crunk, crunk. Boys try to touch my junk, junk. Gonna smack him if he getting too drunk, drunk. Nah, nah, we go until they kick us out. Or the police shut us down, down. Police shut us down, down. Po-po shut us down. Don't stop, make it pop. DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick-tock on the clock, but the party don't stop, no.
Start the matches. Hello everyone, here we are again for this round 4 of BC1, BC2 team. China against Morocco. This is the game in this moment in the Pool B. China with 1 win and Morocco until this moment don't have any win. We saw some games of China during these days, and China is playing a good level of play with a great capacity to move balls and to place balls in the right places. However, yesterday against Indonesia was not able to win the game, and because of that have only 1-1 at this moment. And in the first game of the competition won 11-4 against Hong Kong. In the other side, Morocco lost the 3 games that made until this moment. In the first day, lost against Indonesia 9-4 and against Mexico 9-3. And today in the morning, he lost the game 9-5 against Hong Kong. So, time to watch what can happen here. I will say that China, even if China have a ranked here in number 7 of this competition, the time that was out of competitions due to the COVID is making maybe a wrong placement in this tournament, and is for sure the favorite for this match. Joaquim Viegas here with us again. Morocco still playing for not for so long, with some results in the last years. Don't get the qualification through the African Championship, but showing here some players with some good appointments. But in general, I think China is the favorite, isn't it?
Well, yeah, of course. There's not many doubts about that. They have really different history in this sport. Morocco is an African country. In the number of countries that play Boccia at the international level are just a few. Their competitions, regional competitions, don't have more than 4 or 5 countries. They have started much later than on the other regions. So their experience is much less than the Chinese or any other of the countries that are here. So this is a good opportunity for them to learn as well. I'm sure they have worked hard to be here, because even with that differences, they need to believe they can do it. They need to believe they can qualify. That gives them extra motivation to work, to train, to compete at the highest level. Nevertheless, we can see if we watch, we can see that they need to go on working more and more, and have more competing experiences with other regions that they may have them if they go and compete more than in the challenger tournaments. They can go to the World Cups and get more experience, but for the moment we do not expect different from a win from China.
Yes, that's for sure the general opinion, but we know that sometimes some surprises happened, but I think and looking here for the game of teams is a long game. Even if you make some mistakes in one or two ends, you have the chance to recover if you really is better comparing with other team. So I think that China have really good chances to win this game. But we will see during the match. Looking now for the position of the balls until this moment. China with a good chance here to gain advantage. These two BC2 players of China are really strong players. They are able to move very easy the game situations. The BC1 female player playing in the middle, showing more difficulties, but in the previous games she was able to put some very good balls. And but we know in team usually the BC1 player is more a playmaker that able to put some balls, but is more a placement player comparing with the others. So
Yeah, she has plenty of involuntary movements, and she didn't play well. Anyway, they still have 3 balls to play. Morocco have 2.
And look for the position of this player. He plays by overarm and underarm. He can move easily the wheelchair with the hands. It's totally different comparing with the BC1. I don't know if Joaquim, if you want to talk a little and trying to make a resume about the difference or the main importances of the classification in all these processes.
Yeah, classification is a key for any sport, but particularly for this one, because this is for severe athletes, and severe athletes have more specific situations that have influence on their ability to play. We have an approach more and more functional rather than in the past that it was much more medical. Still need to be worked a lot, and there are different opinions. In some cases those opinions are complementary, but some others are not. So this the classification needs to be worked, and I'm sure that in the next 4 years, so the next Paralympic cycle, there will be news in terms of organization of the classifiers in order to make some work and studies to make a better approach of the qualification system, and make it more clear and more close to the functionality that not only that you have or don't have, but especially the sports functionality, the functionality that you are using to do this sport. Not the one that you evaluate in a more isolated way, but much more close to what you need, what you show, what you use. The key is the word. The key word is use. What do you use for the sport? What can you use and what you cannot use? You may have, sometimes you may have, but you don't use it. Never. So this is all new challenges. If we look to the system now, it's much better than 5 or 10 years ago, but still need to be improved. And I'm sure that the World Boccia Federation is aware of that, and it will work on that hard to improve the system in a way that make the sport more and more fair for the athletes and more clear for the spectators.
Yes, very important here the parasports, that issue about the classifications to be the game as fair as possible. So backing here to the court, number 1 point for China to start, and they get a chance to make a second point in the penalty. They miss that and still have, so the end with 1-0 to China. It's always a good when you start with winning, but everything very, very tight until this moment. Court number 3, Hong Kong winning Mexico 1-0, and Malaysia winning Canada by 1, also finishing the first in the court number 2. Slovakia here with seems that can score 3 or 4 points, but we will make the update soon. We know that we are talking in the beginning that Africa countries are trying to be more involved in this process and international competitions, and the World Boccia is also making some efforts to go to that countries to try to help to develop the coaches, the referees and classifiers to support the development of that. Also in Caribbean there are some projects to try to develop it, and Joaquin, there you look to that with good eyes, this exchange of experience between coaches all around the world to give that important issues to that countries.
Well, yeah, I think we are much more nowadays in terms of different levels of knowledge and experience from the coaches. So we need to make those kinds of exchanges, especially to have experienced coaches helping beginners, coaches that are starting in regions, in countries that they are still in the beginning of the development of this sport. That is very important. To make an approach, to give some quality to those that are in a lower level of development, because not only those coaches that belong to a few clubs will be more skilled to give more steps ahead in the development of sport in their club, but they will influence other coaches, other clubs in their countries, in their region, to and bring more athletes to this sport and give them some quality. So that is, for the moment, probably the best policy. The second one, which is important as well, and if it could be done at the same time, it would be excellent. But if not, on the second stage, which is make some workshops or seminars or meetings where experienced coaches present make some presentations of specific areas and exchange experiences at the highest level, some clinics, something like that. That would be also important to bring the sport at its highest level a step forward. That is a different but complementary area of development that I'm sure many, if not all of us, are looking forward.
Yes, that's for sure, and also the implementation of a new structure of competitions based on regional competitions, and creating, for example, for the first time, the African regional competition championships is very good to giving the information that we want that this sport will be played all around the world, and not only in Asia, Europe, and America, and some countries of America. So I think that the leading of the federation can give right inputs. Also, they develop the competitions for youth, and it's also a good step to implement. So all of these kind of things will help and the countries to develop the sport.
Yeah, of course, bringing the youth to the sport and giving them competing opportunities is very important. Excellent role for Morocco that they are now leading this end with 3 ball plays played against 4 balls from China that have now the turn of playing. But I would like to say about all these policies that World Boccia Federation has to look at. Probably need more, not exactly more staff, maybe also more staff, but the committees more, or some people, some leaders of the committees with more involvement on this type of development. So because this is fortunately this is a voluntary movement. All of us that work that do our job, our work for the International Federation, we do it for free, and that is so important. Not only because the money is limited, but because the spirit, when you do that in a voluntary way, you do it with your heart, with the truth of the movement. But in another way, there are moments, there are work that needs to be done by professionals. So and options have to be made by the federations. So that's why things usually go slowly that we would like to.
Yeah, that's for sure. Even in different countries, you have different approaches to the sport, and you have some countries that have big teams and giving some support, but other ones in some clubs or something like smaller places. This is do it for free and for your time, and So everything can be very different if you have if you coach like a job or if you coach in your free time. So the implication that you have will grow in 1 year, or what we will make in 5 you can do in 1 year. So the approach can be very different, and but step by step I think that the Boccia is growing in the right way.
Yeah, if we look back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there's a huge difference between these 10 and 10 years. So big evolution in all these periods. One of the issues that we have with this sport is that it is very difficult to sell. And what I mean about sell is to make spectacles where we can bring some more spectators, make it more vibrant, more exciting, in order that we can pick some sponsors, which has been very difficult. And that is, in my opinion, should be one of the priorities of the federation. I know that the technical people, from athletes to coaches, even directors in the countries, look at the sport at the strict, in a very restricted way of the competition. But if we want to develop, if we want to grow, we need to be more visible to the world. And for that, we need to make it more attractive. And to make it more attractive, we have to set goals, objectives, and that is made through the rules of the game, the way that the competition, the game, the time it takes, the technology you use, the less involvement of the referees, and so on and so on and so on, to make it more fluent and more attractive. If we do that, we will bring more people, and we have more chances to get some sponsors. So this is, for the last years, my opinion, and more I'm convinced that Boccia needs to go to that way if they want to grow in a way of a changing for a next step, not only the evolution that we have been through up till now, which has been good. It has to be done, and very well done. But now we need to think differently. That's what I think about this, and that will change everything and give more opportunities around the world, and everybody will look to the sport in a way more exciting way, and feel it more attractive to approach, since the spectators, coaches, classifiers, athletes, families, everyone.
Passing now here for the game a little. Slovakia 4-0 against Croatia. Hong Kong still 1-0 against Mexico. And Malaysia 1-0 against Canada. Here in the court number 1, 2 points for China, 3-0 until this moment, with a great last ball of Ziqiang. A close situation that he can easily open and move the jack to behind and score 2 in the last ball. And as working, we saw in Rotterdam this year a different approach in the organization, trying to with maybe more vibrant music between in some points. Some people, not only the people around the countries, but also people around the city that comes and enter and make some noise during the competition. We saw also in Brazil in Paralympics 2016 a lot of crowd around there, but usually the venues are empty. This is you are saying about it's important to try to sell this sport, but the dynamic of the sport is a little slow to do that. How can you think that we can try to do
that? I am very radical about that. My ideas is that one is that the balls should be completely different. The balls should be like in any other sport. The balls are conventional. You may have 3 or 4 or 5 types of thickness, softness, but all the same, like grade 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, but 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, same for everyone. Synthetic balls made in a way that cannot be tempered. Not much soft, because if this match, if this game was made for the most severe, and if you look back 20 years ago, and if you look now, there are many of those players that were medalists that they have no place on this sport today. They are not successful enough for that. If the balls were homogeneous and not so soft, not so difficult to move and then be removed. If the game will be different, will be more tactical, more rebounds, but will be more interesting. In other way, the distance, the system of measuring the distance should be made in a way that we don't need these situations where the game stops. Everybody's looking. Sometimes it takes 30 seconds, sometimes 2 minutes, several times during a game. No, this is not good for the sport. There are other introductions. For instance, if you play one color, then another color, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, then it will be more easy to understand, and it will be faster. The time that the players use to think, and sometimes they are not thinking, is a strategy to also make some pressure on the opponent. We need to do something about that as well. So in a way that they do not take so much time when they are able, and they play, but they use time to to relax, to tire the opponents. I don't like it. I think I put myself in a position of a spectator and see a sport like this, and see this. Boccia is a slower game, yes, it is, but could be much less. So this is decisions like this. It's a perspective. Change the perspective that you look to this sport, and change it in a way that if I was a spectator, if I was a sponsor, if I was a politician, and I was seated upstairs, what would I like to see? So and not look to the sport as it has been now, because the players are comfortable, because the coaches are comfortable.
So here are some insights about things to think about. I think that World Boccia will receive for sure the different insights, and have to have perspective of develop the sport, not only the rules, but all sport and all dynamics around it. And because of that, they are during these last years getting new people to work with the board, and probably they are thinking about different perspectives, trying to get a better sport, and try to sell this like a show, like other sports does, like in football, for example. Everything about the football is different comparing with 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So the people go to see a show, and the football make part of that. So we will see the future of this game, but for now we are fighting for the places for the Paralympics that will made the same. But I think that in 4 years we are all expecting for different, because you have, I think, nine Paralympic games in your hand. I think 9.
Yeah.
So, do you saw this difference for better during this longer these years?
Oh, absolutely. The first Paralympic Games where I've been, it was also it was the second competition, Boccia competition in international level. The first one was in 1982 in Denmark, in Greve, but as an experienced sport. And it was the CPE Games, Cerebral Palsy Games, with just 2 or 3 countries playing with lack of experience. Then in '84 there was, I guess,
New York.
In New York. It was 4 countries, 4 or 5 countries: U.S., Canada, Denmark, Great Britain, and Portugal. So very few countries, and there was no need of qualification, because those were times where there was such a few number of athletes that if you register, you were qualified. Then each 4 years we notice development. So it's not only let's say 84, so 40 years. It's not only 40 years after. It's each 4 years you could observe evolution, step forward. But we have to look that it was in the beginning a recreational sport based on the sports for all, and CPEs were first, and World Boccia, BC1 and World Boccia after made it a truly competitive sport, so competitive as any other. And we can also notice that in almost all the sports 40 years ago, Paralympic sports. But Boccia more than the others, because for 20 years not many countries were involved with Boccia. And this federation, after being constituted, one of BC1 policies was to open and develop the sport in more and more countries, and we notice a big difference. So there are today much more, and I'm sure that in the future, in the next 20 years, we will have maybe close to 100 countries playing Boccia, which is fantastic. Just a final comment about the balls. It is unacceptable for me that nowadays you have sets of balls that cost you almost 1,000 euros. One ball can cost you 120, 130, 140 euros. This is not acceptable. Even it is, I know it is high level, but the who rules the sport must make decisions in order to avoid that this happen. You cannot say to the manufacturers, no, we must sell them lower price. No, that's not the way. The way is to find the right balls to a fair cost, that anyone, I mean anyone, not only those who are starting, who are beginning it, but those who want to be high-level athletes can access the balls for a fair price.
Yeah, that's for sure another thing to think about. And now coming back here for the game, 1 point more for China. China, until this moment, not able to score big numbers in between the ends, so making point by point or 2 points in the second end. So Morocco still have some chances here. We are in the middle of the game. We are starting the second phase, the second part of the game, in the fourth end. But China still showing here better quality in general.
Yeah, I agree. However, we have to say that Morocco is a good surprise. Even being losing, China has to work hard to make 1 point here, 1 point there, and Morocco is discussing each end up until the end, which is very good for them. That will encourage them.
And I think the games that we saw with Morocco has been like this. Short games, they can put there some balls, blocking balls in the opponent. Even the balls that they miss later on, they are used. So they're creating some difficulties to the opponents. But even with that, China was able to solve the different situations around the previous ends, and now a great ball from the BC1 female player. Here nowadays, the teams have to have at least one male, one female, and one BC1. Usually the teams play with one BC1 and two BC2s. Joaquin, this implementation of the rule of the female after Tokyo was mandatory, that the pairs have to have one female and one male, and in teams also you have to have at least one male and one female. The world bosses separate males and females, trying to get more females involved in the sport. This is the right way to move the sport forward.
Well, if we consider what has been the paradigm on the last years, which is make the sport grow for female gender, is a policy, is a general policy all over the world. And the Paralympic Committee has established numbers that the international federations, each one of them, has to achieve. So BISFED have to do it. And there were hard negotiations with the IPC in order to establish an agreement about how to do it, because IPC would not like to open much more quotas for more numbers of for more athletes. And if they want more female athletes, more quota was needed. So it was not an easy negotiation. But I think it is a good agreement. So before we had mixed divisions for each individual class, plus the 3 pairs and teams. Now we have the same pairs and team, but have the double of individual divisions, male and female, and that gave us more quotas, more athletes. We have been growing for the last 12 years. We have been growing the numbers, which I think no other federation have done it as such as Boccia. But the compromise was that for pairs and team, it was mixed, like it was before, but not compulsory. I think it's a good agreement. We don't know about the future, but this is present, and I think it is a good agreement. We were not all in agreement at the beginning because mankind is different and is not much favorable to changes, and there was a status quo, and there was a need to change that status quo. So some people didn't agree, but at the end of the day, I think we all won with this change.
We are watching during these last 2 years a great development of the females, even looking for all classes. Easily we can see that the females are more involved and growing the level, and that is good. But my question is where we put the great players the great male players that we have, and nowadays are not having the chance to play. It's possible to implement more places in different competitions, or this is the maximum that the World Boccia can have to manage the competitions.
You mean in Paralympic Games?
No, in Paralympics I know that the slots are limited and you cannot manage so much, but the World Boccia, for example, we know that from the past looking, there are some good male and even more female, but male for sure, players that if they have the chance to be here in some competitions, they have a word to say, even if they are from the same countries. But we know that countries like Brazil or Portugal, Great Britain, Korea, China have some players that are not getting slots because don't have space to do that, and they are out of competitions. How can this be manageable to give the opportunity to more players to enter in this process?
Well, I think
choose the best. And
no. I think there's 2 ways of looking at it. One of them is that is a consequence of development. When a sport develops in general, and particularly in some countries, so you have more athletes at the highest level, there will be always that question. I mean, if you can bring 3 athletes and you have 4 or 5 the same level, you have to choose. If they give you 1 more slot, maybe next year we have that slot, but we have 2 more at the same level, 2 more athletes, and that will be always a problem, a good problem, a quality problem. Like we always heard about football, this is a good problem that the manager have, because he have 2 or 3 excellent players for the same position. It's the same. But on the other hand, as an opportunity, as you said, as a coach, I understand. If I have a couple of players, 2 or 3 players, and I have to choose always only one, it's not fair for the others that train so hard and never have a chance to show. Yes, you have different competitions, and you can choose to bring the other athletes to the competition, to other competitions, and alternate them to bringing them to the competitions. And maybe if the World Boccia Federation realize that is an issue, so maybe they organize the competition system in a way that provides more opportunities to more athletes, not only those that are always those who are chosen, but also others. So I think there's more, in one way, more competitions. In another way, it's a consequence of development. I cannot see another way.
And before I ask that question, only to pass here from the results. China make 3 points at this fourth end, 7-0 until this moment. Slovakia 10, Croatia 0. Here a good result from Slovakia in the last chance, and Croatia with 2 wins. Surprising here the winning of Croatia yesterday against Argentina, and Slovakia. We will see, will depending of others of the results. Hong Kong 4-0 against Mexico, and Malaysia 3-1 against Canada.
So this is the fifth end, and 7 winning by 7 points difference. China as the match in their hands, the win in their hands. So they, of course, they are not giving the points to Morocco, but they are very, very, very cool, very calm. They are controlling the game.
Similar to that, you are using this match to talk about a little the sport. So if you have some question to do and some insight to talk about this great sport, you can use the chat. Try and make your questions. Hello to Luana, Siddharth Kartik, and Angelo Costa here in our chat. And you can try to ask us, and we'll try to answer for your question. And Joaquin, international level of Boccia is based on nations for when we'll have clubs competition, international clubs competition. That can be a reasonable chance to include more players, or there will be difficult because of the values that are involved in travels and in fees that the clubs probably don't have the chance to have it.
I think that will be inevitable. Sooner or later, that will happen. Also, unfortunately, there will be some countries that will have more money than others to take part of those competitions. And as usually, those that have more money will start that competition, and the others, if they want to take part, have to find the money for it. But I think that will happen, and that will be part of development. I mean, it's not good the way as it will be done, but it is good that happen, because it will help the development of the sport in a different perspective. So it is not representing the country, but representing clubs. So the stronger clubs, the stronger players that are in the best clubs in richer countries, or in countries where they can the government, local or national, the government supports that participation. So those will go first, and of course, as much as that happen and is known and seen around the world, more countries will try to find a way to go to, because they know that will help their development. So I think, if you ask me, is that good? Yes, it is good for the development of the sport. The opportunity is not the same for everyone, but if we look some years, even now, but if you look back 20 years, many countries could not compete because they do not have money to come. Even today, one of the most, if not the most, the richest country in the world, USA, we don't have a USA team because they don't get money. The government doesn't support directly the sports. They must find the money through sponsors. And again, to the sponsorship in a country like that, it is the country where you can get more sponsors, but not for Boccia. Why? Because it's not attractive. Yet.
Well, here, only to answer to Ângelo Costa, I will speak in Portuguese and we return to English. Ângelo, boa tarde. Aqui temos os resultados do par BC4 de Portugal. Infelizmente, Portugal perdeu o seu jogo de hoje contra a Malásia por 5-3, quais junta as derrotas de ontem contra a Hungria por 4-1 e contra o Japão por 4-2, e portanto Portugal sem hipóteses para seguir para a qualificação paralímpica. Do lado BC3, Portugal hoje perdeu o jogo 4-1 contra a Grã-Bretanha e ontem tinha jogado e ganho a Singapura por 3-1. Irá jogar na próxima linha de jogos às 17h45 contra o Peru, que será então um jogo muito importante para acalentar as possibilidades de seguir nesta competição. So yesterday we talked a little about this tournament, this qualification tournament, and looking here for the results and taking a look for example, for BC4s, the seed number 1, Great Britain, will be out of Paralympics, and South Korea get the chance and at least achieve the semi-finals. That is the purpose of this competition, wasn't it? Create a chance for the countries that don't have money to go or don't have the chance to enter, or because they are in the region that is very strong, to get the last chance to enter. But here we have two perspectives. Looking now, for example, Great Britain, that don't enter by, I don't know for sure how many points, but do a regular step by step during 4 years or 3 years or 2 years that are counting to the ranking, and they are out, and the others get the chance and enter. So looking for this, we can have two sides to look.
Yeah. I think, the opportunity, being for lack of money or not, I think it's maybe much more for have a competitive, specific opportunity to qualify when you are very close from the games. So this will be, it's more, if we analyze in terms of being competitive, nothing is more competitive than competing. We have a system. Before we had a system almost or even fully ranked based. Then we start to edit the qualification of the winners, the regional champions.
First was world champions, and now the regionals.
And now we have added two two extra situations. One is this one, through a competition, you have three places as a quota to qualify. We also have to understand that for the first time we have 12 slots for each division, which is very good. So that allows that a bigger number allows different paths, different ways of qualifying. So 3 places, and we still have for individuals. We still have the invitation of some athletes that are not qualified, and that allows that in different situations being the best players that for any reason did not qualify, or if we have lack of female athletes in such a class, you can invite 1 or 2 female athletes, or if we have the most severe that you want to invite as well. So we have here 2 more paths to qualify for the Paralympics, which is, in my opinion, more interesting for the competing point of view and for the Paralympic / Olympic spirit, which is the invitation of those. So it's a kind of there's a few number of athletes that we would like to see here, and they did not have the opportunity. We are going to invite them. So that is also very positive in my opinion. I agree with those new ways of qualifying.
Yes, and it's also a way to have another big tournament, and for the first time again Portugal in the lead of this. Sometimes, so many times during the history of the sport, Portugal takes the lead, and once again receiving here for the first time a qualification tournament. Portugal, we have to talk, even if we are Portuguese, but Portugal during the whole process of the sport have taken the mark, and is one of the biggest and important countries in the development of this sport, isn't it? Also Korea, also Great Britain, they are probably the countries that are from the beginning, and Spain, but Portugal still continuing to have this main importance in the sport.
I think that that is true, and I think that Portugal is leading that process of innovation, or being the first to start the changing or the new events. We have done it with the first international referees course that was in Lisbon, Wales, in 1989, I think. We had the first World Cup here in Coimbra in 1991, and we have designed that competition. So far there was only World Championships, not even regional. We have contributed and designed the first world ranking.
And even making part of the International Paralympic Committee in the first steps of the.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yes. We have also leading co-leading the constitution of BC1, the International Boccia Federation. We have organized the first Youth World Championships. and we are organizing the first Paralympic qualification tournament because this is passion for us. Fortunately, I have been in this movement since the beginning, but now there's more people that feels the same passion, and we think that we must work not only by producing good technical coaches and other referees and classifiers, which is the case. We have a lot of them in general with very good work, but also offering events and organizing events and innovating in some events for the development of the sport. This is passion, and that is what moves us to go further.
Yes, that's a really historic perspective. Even when CP Israel have the hand in the sport, we have some Portuguese there working with them, and so very involved during these years. So here in Coimbra, 2024 World Boccia Paralympic Qualification Tournament. You're now watching the last phase of the game, 9-0 until this moment, and China now with a chance to score 4 or 5 more points to put a big score in the scoreboard. It was the story of this match. Even if they don't score more than 1 or 2 in the beginning, they take the lead, and then they go end by end winning, don't losing nothing, and in the end a big score showing that China get the what we predict in the beginning of the game.
So it will be 5 more points to add to the 9 they have scored so far, and that will make 14 for China, 0 for Morocco.
Yeah, with this winning, China achieved the second winning of the group. However, will depend of the results of the other courts. Hong Kong is winning Mexico, so Hong Kong also will have 2 victories. So all the decisions will be made it tomorrow with a difficult game from Hong Kong against Indonesia. But tomorrow we will have what's happened in this Group B. In Group A, everything very, very tight. Croatia in the lead now is losing against Slovakia. So give a chance to other countries to get better positions. Malaysia winning 6-1 against Croatia, winning. It was the second win, so tomorrow morning there is a lot of decisions to be made, trying to get places to get the semifinals. Joaquim Viegas, it's the end of this match. We come 5:45 to watch the games of BC 3 pairs. We will have Colombia against Japan. Thanks to be here with us, Joaquim.
Thank you, and see you soon. So André has said everything about this match. The difference was so expressive that there's not much more to say. So thank you for being here, and see you in 45 minutes.
question.